This is the story of a man who defied odds, faced prison, led a revolution, and shaped the destiny of a nation, the unyielding spirit. A prologue to a political saga. This is the story of a man who defied odds. He faced the cold stone of a prison cell. He led a revolution without firing a gun. He shaped the destiny of a nation, often from the outside looking in. His life is a journey through Kenya's turbulent history, a tale of resilience, battles won, battles lost, a spirit that refused to be broken. Section 2, The Son of a Lion, Birth and Early Awakening. Raila Odinga was born on January 7, 1945. His birthplace was Maseno, a town in western Kenya near the shores of Lake Victoria. He was born into a prominent family. His father was the great Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, a towering figure in the fight for Kenya's independence, who would later become the country's first vice president. Raila's childhood was not ordinary. His home was a center of political activity. Leaders and thinkers from all over the country and the world visited. He grew up listening to intense debates about freedom, justice, and the future of a new nation. This early exposure to politics shaped him deeply. Jaramogi often clashed with those in power, even his allies. Raila learned that standing for the people could come at a great personal cost. He witnessed passion and hope, and the disappointments that followed. These formative years instilled in him a powerful sense of social justice. He saw the gap between the promises of freedom and reality for many Kenyans. His mother, Mary Juma Odinga, provided strength and stability amid the storms of public life. His upbringing blended traditional Luo culture with his father's modern nationalist politics. He learned community and heritage and a broader vision for a united, diverse Kenya. Section 3. Forging a Mind in Fire. Education at Home and Abroad. Raila's formal education began in Kenya. He attended local schools like Kisumu Union Primary and Miranda School, a good student with a sharp, inquisitive mind. His schooling grounded him in his community's challenges and hopes. His father envisioned a broader education. He secured a scholarship to study in East Germany during the Cold War, a world divided into powerful blocs. In 1965, he enrolled at the Herder Institute, part of the University of Leipzig, to learn German. A young African in a communist state, his perspective broadened profoundly. He debated governance, economics, and society. He moved to the Technical University of Magdeburg to pursue mechanical engineering. He learned precision, planning, and industrial processes. He saw how a state mobilized to build and create industries. Conversations spanned socialism, capitalism, and Africa's liberation struggles. He graduated in 1970 and returned home, armed with ideas and skill. He taught at the University of Nairobi and founded a company making LPG cylinders, an engineer and builder serving his nation. Section 4. The Crucible of Politics. Entry, Arrest, and a Will of Steel. Raila's formal entry into politics began in the late 1970s, but the 1980s truly forged him. Kenya was a one-party state under President Daniel Arap Moi. Dissent was not tolerated. Influenced by his father's legacy, he joined a growing movement quietly pushing for democratic reforms. His work put him on a collision course with the state. Turning point, August 1, 1982. A coup attempt failed within hours. A brutal crackdown followed. Thousands were arrested. Soldiers, students, prominent critics. Raila Odinga was among those arrested, accused of treason. He maintained his innocence, a reformer, not a violent revolutionary. A long, harrowing detention without trial followed, including the infamous Nyayo House chambers. Denied sunlight, proper food, and family contact, the goal was to break his spirit. Yet his will did not shatter. He used his mind to stay sane, tapping messages to fellow prisoners. Released briefly in 1988, arrested again in 1989 and 1990. More than 8 years behind bars for his ideals. The crucible transformed him, hardened his resolve, and gave him credibility among those fighting for change. He emerged a symbol of resilience, his commitment to democracy stronger than ever. The early 1990s were a time of great change across Africa, and Kenya was no exception. Pressure for reform came from within and from the international community. Raila, fresh from detention, joined leaders like Jaramogi, Kenneth Matiba, and Charles Rubia to form FORD. They challenged the one-party state, organizing rallies and calling to repeal the ban on opposition parties. Resistance was fierce, but in 1991 the government allowed other parties, a monumental victory. Raila mobilized especially the youth and became MP for Langata in 1992, a seat he held for 2 decades. In Parliament, he pressed for deeper reforms, founding vehicles like the National Development Party to build a powerful base. A master strategist, he connected emotionally with ordinary people. Ahead of the 2002 election, he made a tactical move that stunned the nation. He declared Kibaki Tosha, endorsing Mwai Kibaki as the united opposition's candidate under NARC. The opposition swept canoe from power for the first time since independence. Raila became Minister for Roads and Public Works, energetic and hands-on. Unity was short-lived. Disagreements over a new constitution and power sharing led to the formation of the Orange Democratic Movement. A new movement, a renewed push for change. Raila Odinga's ultimate ambition was the presidency, to fully implement a just and equitable Kenya. His first bid came in 1997. Greater battles lay ahead. In 2007, he ran a galvanizing campaign that drew millions. When the incumbent was declared winner under controversy, protests erupted and tragedy followed. Over 1,000 died and hundreds of thousands were displaced. Kenya stood on the brink. International mediation brokered a government of national unity. A new post was created. Raila Odinga became Prime Minister. Governing with a rival tested his capacity to compromise for stability. He was instrumental in the 2010 Constitution, devolved power, a robust Bill of Rights, and judicial reforms. He ran again in 2013 and 2017, both marred by controversy. In a historic first, the Supreme Court nullified the result. Raila boycotted the rerun, citing unreformed systems. To some, he was a sore loser. To others, a relentless fighter that every vote must count. Kenya braced for what would come next. After the divisive 2017 election and stalemate, Kenya was polarized, the economy strained, the people fatigued. Then, something unexpected. Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta appeared together. They shook hands and pledged to put differences aside for the nation. A political earthquake that stunned both supporters and opponents. They promised to address ethnic division, corruption, and contested elections. The Building Bridges initiative toured the country to gather views and propose reforms. BBI sought to reduce zero-sum politics by expanding the executive and inclusion. It sparked intense debate and was ultimately halted by the courts. Yet the handshake reshaped politics, proving there are no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. Raila Odinga's legacy is complex, powerful, woven into the fabric of modern Kenya. His enduring contribution, relentless fights for democracy and constitutional reform. From the dark days of single-party rule to the front lines of electoral justice. He pushed for an open, transparent, accountable government. He helped deliver multi-partyism and drove the 2010 Constitution that devolved power. His bond with the people, especially the youth, earned the affectionate nickname Baba, a father figure to many. Beyond politics, infrastructure at home, as AU's High Representative, he championed Africa's connectivity and unity. Though never president, he arguably shaped Kenya as much as any, testing and strengthening institutions and inspiring citizens to demand change. If we imagine the day his journey concludes, the nation would stand still. News alerts would flash, radios would turn somber. From Nairobi to Siaya, a hush would fall. People would gather, sharing memories. Lines at memorials, young and old, every walk of life, united in loss. Global tributes would arrive, but the most powerful eulogies would be from ordinary Kenyans. They would thank him for freedoms won at great cost, affirming that his spirit would not be buried. This is the story of a man who defied odds, faced prison, led a revolution, and shaped the destiny of a nation. Though his voice may one day fall silent, his ideas will echo: justice, freedom, unity, and a prosperous Kenya. Raila Odinga may be gone, but his spirit lives on in the heart of every Kenyan who believes in justice, freedom, and democracy.